Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning.
We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving.
A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous.
Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere.
It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer.
Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Only two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the former.
Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new.
Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character.
I have no special talent, I am only passionately curious.
The only source of knowledge is experience.
No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it.
Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value.
We still do not know 1,000% of what nature has revealed to us.
Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one.
We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them.
The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters.
Nationalism is an infantile disease. It is the measles of mankind.
It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge.
I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones.
Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds.
No amount of experimentation can ever prove me right. A single experiment can prove me wrong.
You can't blame gravity for falling in love.
Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death.
Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them.
If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it?
The gift of fantasy has meant more to me than my talent for absorbing positive knowledge. Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18.
There are two ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle. You can live as if everything is a miracle.
Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions.
Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves.
Everyone should be respected as an individual, but no one idolized. Pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas. I never think of the future. It comes soon enough. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing.
If people are good only because they fear punishment and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed.
Intellectuals solve problems, geniuses prevent them. I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity.
A table, a chair, a bowl of fruit, and a violin. What else does a man need to be happy?
He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty.
If you are out to describe the truth, leave elegance to the tailor.
You cannot simultaneously prevent and prepare for war. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. I think and think for months and years. 99 times the conclusion is false. The 100th time I am right.
Do not worry about your difficulties in mathematics. I can assure you mine are still greater.
The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind.
I am not only a pacifist, but a militant pacifist. I am willing to fight for peace. Nothing will end war unless the people themselves refuse to go to war. Before God, we are all equally wise and equally foolish.
Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler.
The hardest thing to understand in the world is the income tax. It is a miracle that curiosity survives formal education.
A question that sometimes drives me hazy. Am I or are the others crazy?
The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once.
The value of a man should be seen in what he gives and not in what he is able to receive.
It is strange to be known so universally and yet to be so lonely. Anger dwells only in the bosom of fools.
Imagination is more important than knowledge. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. Anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either.
The environment is everything that isn't me.
The environment is everything that isn't me.
Let every man be respected as an individual and no man idolized.
Most people say that it is the intellect which makes a great scientist. They are wrong. It is character. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts.
Joy in looking and comprehending is nature's most beautiful gift. Concern for man and his fate must always form the chief interest of all technical endeavors. Never forget this in the midst of your diagrams and equations.
Love is a better teacher than duty.
Politics is for the present, but an equation is for eternity.
We cannot despair of humanity, since we ourselves are human beings. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity. Whoever undertakes to set himself up as a judge of truth and knowledge is shipwrecked by the laughter of the gods.
The whole of science is nothing more than a refinement of everyday thinking.
Technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal.
Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love.
In matters of truth and justice, there is no difference between large and small problems, for issues concerning the treatment of people are all the same.
The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science.
I believe that a simple and unassuming manner of life is best for everyone, best both for the body and the mind. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle, requires creative imagination and marks real advance in science.
The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible.
Information is not knowledge.
Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. Memory is deceptive because it is colored by today's events. He who joyfully marches to music in rank and file has already earned my contempt. He has been given a large brain by mistake, since for him the spinal cord would suffice.
Force always attracts men of low morality.
I want to know all God's thoughts, all the rest are just details.
It is my conviction that killing under the cloak of war is nothing but an act of murder.
You can never solve a problem on the level on which it was created.
I do not believe in immortality of the individual, and I consider ethics to be an exclusively human concern with no superhuman authority behind it.
The only real valuable thing is intuition.
Without deep reflection, one knows from daily life that one exists for other people. Never do anything against conscience, even if the state demands it.
The unleashed power of the atom has changed everything save our modes of thinking, and we thus drift toward unparalleled catastrophe.
Heroism on command, senseless violence, and all the loathsome nonsense that goes by the name of patriotism, how passionately I hate them. I very rarely think in words at all. A thought comes, and I may try to express it in words afterwards.
It gives me great pleasure indeed to see the stubbornness of an incorrigible nonconformist warmly acclaimed. All religions, arts, and sciences are branches of the same tree. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual.
Few people are capable of expressing with equanimity opinions which differ from the prejudices of their social environment. Most people are even incapable of forming such opinions. When the solution is simple, God is answering.
A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be.
I do not believe in the God of theology who rewards good and punishes evil.
It should be possible to explain the laws of physics to a barmaid.
In order to be an immaculate member of a flock of sheep, one must above all be a sheep oneself.
True religion is real living, living with all one's soul, with all one's goodness and righteousness.
An empty stomach is not a good political advisor.
As far as I'm concerned, I prefer silent vice to ostentatious virtue.
Only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason, mastery demands all of a person,
The release of atomic energy has not created a new problem. It has merely made more urgent the necessity of solving an existing one.
The fear of death is the most unjustified of all fears, for there's no risk of accident for someone who's dead. I used to go away for weeks in a state of confusion.
Science is a wonderful thing if one does not have to earn one's living at it. Put your hand on a hot stove for a minute and it seems like an hour. Sit with a pretty girl for an hour and it seems like a minute. I love to travel but hate to arrive. I shall never believe that God plays dice with the world. I do not believe that civilization will be wiped out in a war fought with the atomic bomb. Perhaps 2/3 of the people of the earth will be killed. True art is characterized by an irresistible urge in the creative artist. The distinction between the past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion.
The pursuit of truth and beauty is a sphere of activity in which we are permitted to remain children all our lives.
God does not play dice.
I am a deeply religious non-believer. This is a somewhat new kind of religion.
Solitude is painful when one is young, but delightful when one is more mature. God always takes the simplest way.
Knowledge of what is does not open the door directly to what should be.
Morality is of the highest importance, but for us, not for God.
If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music. People love chopping wood. In this activity, one immediately sees results.
Nothing is more destructive of respect for the government and the law of the land than passing laws which cannot be enforced.
Reading, after a certain age, diverts the mind too much from its creative pursuits. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking.
Human beings must have action, and they will make it if they cannot find it.
I have just got a new theory of eternity.
The faster you go, the shorter you are.
Most of the fundamental ideas of science are essentially simple and may, as a rule, be expressed in a language comprehensible to everyone.
The grand aim of all science is to cover the greatest number of empirical facts by logical deduction from the smallest number of hypotheses or axioms.
It stands to the everlasting credit of science that by acting on the human mind it has overcome man's insecurity before himself and before nature. I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share, it is time to go. I will do it elegantly. The process of scientific discovery is, in effect, a continual flight from wonder.
Too many of us look upon Americans as dollar chasers. This is a cruel libel, even if it is reiterated thoughtlessly by the Americans themselves. That deep emotional conviction of the presence of a superior reasoning power, which is revealed in the incomprehensible universe, forms my idea of God.
There is no logical way to the discovery of these elemental laws. There is only the way of intuition, which is helped by a feeling for the order lying behind the appearance.
Mozart's music is so pure and beautiful that I see it as a reflection of the inner beauty of the universe.